Hey guys, welcome back to Pages with Sidra. Today we're continuing the amazing manhwa standard of reincarnation. This video will cover chapters 135 all the way to 152. If you haven't seen the first part yet, which covers chapters 1 to 134, you can find it on my channel in the playlist. But if you're already caught up till chapter 134, then you're in the right spot. Let's dive into the story from here. The story begins with a voice narrating a tale from the past. This is the story I once heard from Annalyn, the dragon who hides at the Nile Falls. 500 years ago, the scene shifts. A man quietly writes, recording the tale. Suddenly, darkness spreads. A black shadow appears in the peaceful lands of Samayon. And from that shadow came the Archdemon, Archdemon Davin. His towering figure, clad in dark armor and wielding a massive sword, struck terror into the hearts of all who saw him. Those who were touched by him instantly lost their will, becoming slaves under his control. The Samayon lands trembled on the brink of extinction as demonic hordes ravaged humanity. But not all hope was lost, for heroes rose to stand against him. The first among them stood proudly atop a building, his presence blazing like the sun. A radiant light shone around him as he raised his sword high. He was Arslan Falker, the Sun Sword Emperor. With unmatched speed, Arslan leapt from the rooftop, charging straight at the Archdemon. His voice thundered as he unleashed his power. Divine General's sword art. The clash shook the battlefield. Arslan's blade sliced through the Archdemon's head, shattering one of his four horns. The broken horn crashed to the ground, and Arslan landed heavily, his breath tense. "I missed," he muttered, frustrated. But the danger had only begun. From the severed horn, writhing shadows burst forth, manifestations of the Archdemon's dark power. They swarmed toward Arslan, eager to consume him. "Damn it! I can't face the Archdemon alone." Just as despair loomed, a figure clad in shining armor appeared. A shield slammed down, forming a barrier of protection before Arslan. It was his comrade, the Holy King, Lamagor. With his lance in hand and divine power blazing, he stood firm at Arslan's side. The Archdemon growled in a broken, guttural voice. Arslan. His massive hands ripped a building from its foundations. With terrifying strength, he hurled the colossal structure straight toward the two heroes. As the shadow of destruction loomed, Arslan shouted, "We need." Lamagor immediately cut him off, finishing his thought. To dodge the building, just as the massive building hurtled toward them, a hand appeared, mysterious and powerful. In an instant, the falling structure froze in midair. Lamagor's eyes widened in shock. It stopped. Arslan gasped. "That's..." A voice, sharp and commanding, echoed across the battlefield. "What are you two doing?" Stepping forward was the third hero, Besaddle Heiseli, the matriarch of the Heiseli clan. With a stern glare, she scolded them. "If you get stopped by something like this, how do you ever expect to defeat the Archdemon?" Arslan's tense expression softened in relief. "Besaddle, you came." But Besaddle didn't waste a moment. She raised her hands, magic swirling around her. "Go, Arslan." The air trembled as her spell took shape. Pieces of shattered buildings rose, floating upward and aligning themselves into a path in the sky. "I'll open the way for you," she declared, her voice unwavering. At the same time, Lamagor drew forth his sacred relic, the Holy Grail. He held it out to his friend, his voice solemn. "I'll give you all of my divine power through this Holy Grail." Arslan's grip tightened on his sword as divine light began to flow into him. "This is your one and only chance," Lamagor shouted. "You cannot miss it." Arslan nodded firmly. "Yes, Lamagor." Empowered, he leapt onto the floating stones, climbing upward as if ascending stairs toward destiny. Step by step, he ran across the airborne path created for him. The Archdemon's eyes flared. He raised his massive blade and swung with destructive force. The strike shattered the very footholds Arslan relied upon. Rocks crumbled beneath his feet. "He's going for my path," Arslan thought desperately. "I'm going to fall." But before he could plummet, a massive shadow spread its wings. The final hero had arrived, Annalyn, the legendary dragon. Arslan landed on her scaled back, staring in disbelief. "You?" Annalyn's deep voice rumbled. "The situation doesn't seem good, Arslan." "We can't give up," Arslan shouted back, determination burning in his eyes. Annalyn soared higher into the skies, carrying him. Yes, it may not seem possible to win, but I must put my trust in the prophet you mentioned. That Julian fellow predicted we would triumph. Arslan exhaled, his resolve hardening. Yes. He raised his sword once more, his voice echoing across the battlefield. Of course, we're going to win. As we should, Annalyn roared in agreement. Together, they dove. Arslan leapt from the dragon's back, descending like a comet toward the archdemon. His blade glowed with divine fury. Let's end this, he cried. The final strike cut through the air, Arslan screaming his enemy's name with all his might. Archdemon, Davin. The scene shifts. The legendary battle was not just a story of the past. It was being told in the present by none other than the very dragon herself. Annalyn's voice boomed proudly as she finished recounting the tale. And so we defeated that Davin guy. Vinchun, listening, stood frozen in shock. The dragon leaned closer, smiling smugly. Amazing, right? The dragon in that legend is me. Vinchun's voice trembled with disbelief as he faced the dragon. Arslan and Holy King Lamagor. I knew about them. But Besaddle? Annalyn, I've never heard those legends. Annalyn's eyes widened in shock. What? No way. She leaned closer, her voice booming with pride. You don't know Annalyn, the black flame dragon of death and destruction? Vinchun blinked, confused. Death and destruction? Black flame dragon. He studied her crimson scales. She's red, though. Trying to piece things together, he asked cautiously. So in conclusion, you all defeated Davin, just like someone named Julian prophesied, huh? Annalyn nodded, tail flicking lazily. Yes, I wasn't all that motivated, but the others were desperate. From the side, Julian whispered nervously to Vinchun. Hey, is that old lady dragon even in her right mind, Vinchun? Vinchun didn't answer immediately. His thoughts raced. Then, with a steady tone, he replied, I don't think this dragon is lying. I've heard of Besaddle 500 years ago, and the way she describes it all, it's too realistic to be false. His voice lowered, almost trembling. Then, is the archdemon's name really Davin? Memories stirred within him. Vinchun suddenly saw flashes of his past life. The cold, dark cell where he had been imprisoned, the moment of betrayal when a blade pierced his back. Arslan's face appearing before him in fragments. Didn't I die a lonely death in the Samian's basement? Wait, how did I die again? The memories blurred, incomplete, jagged. His head pounded as he clutched it in pain. Ugh, what's happening to me? My memories from the moment I died, they're so unclear. Nonetheless, for now. He lifted his gaze, determination flickering. I need to learn more about the past, from this dragon. But before he could speak, Annalyn's massive claw suddenly clamped against his chest. Okay, enough questions. With a swift motion, she hurled him aside like a rag doll. Stay out of this for a bit. Vinchun, Sari and Hannah cried out, rushing toward him. Young master. Annalyn's wings spread wide as she loomed over them, her voice cold. I got too excited after talking with humans for the first time in ages. She extended her claw forward, dark flames gathering at her maw. It's time for you to die. The air ignited as a torrent of fire erupted, the blast shaking the ground. But then Annalyn's eyes widened. Through the smoke, Vinchun stood tall in front of Sari and Hannah, shielding them with his own body. The flames had been stopped. You, Annalyn's voice faltered. Shock rippled through her as she thought to herself, I did sense the blood of Heiseli within him. Could he really be the son of that child from back then? Vinchun glared up at her, voice unshaken. Don't hurt my sister. A pause. Then, unexpectedly, Annalyn chuckled. A sly smile spread across her massive face. Okay, I like you. She leaned closer, her eyes gleaming with a dangerous light. Shall we make a bet with our lives? Vinchun stiffened. A bet? Annalyn's grin widened. If you win, I'll give you the heavenly fruit and let you all live. No. She lowered her voice, dark amusement in her tone. I'll even let you kill me. My corpse would be quite valuable after all. But if you lose, her eyes flared with black flame. Then you will all die here. Annalyn smiled faintly. Her human form began to twist and shift, scales glimmering as her body transformed back into her true form, a dragon. Her voice rumbled through the air, heavy with menace. If you're scared, I can just kill you right away. Vinchun's eyes hardened. He stood his ground and shouted, his voice carrying every ounce of his resolve. My life on the line should be enough. Take my sister and Sari out of this. The dragon's lips curled into a sly smile as she answered with a mocking tone. Don't wanna. Julian growled in frustration, glaring at her. TSK, damn old lady. Sari's voice trembled, but she still forced herself to speak. It's all right. And Hannah cut in firmly, looking straight at Vincent. Accept it, Vincent. Julian blinked, caught off guard. What? Sari clenched her fists, determination burning in her eyes. We don't want to get in your way after coming this far. Hannah's tone grew sharper. It's not like you're expecting to lose, are you, Vincent? Vincent froze, staring at the two of them. Their unwavering eyes gave him pause, and for a brief moment, he hesitated. Then he drew in a breath. Okay. His resolve returned, firm and steady. I'll accept your bet, Annalyn. The dragon laughed loudly. Should have done that from the start. Her jaws opened wide, a strange glow building in her throat. The air around her shook as she absorbed the surrounding energy, pulling it all toward her. A surge of light burst forth, brilliant, blinding. Vincent, standing so close to her massive body, shielded his eyes. Ugh, what's going on? He blinked rapidly as the glare faded, and then his eyes widened. Huh. The dragon lowered her massive head toward him, her mouth opening once more. Vincent's breath caught in his throat. Shock spread across his face as he realized what she was about to reveal. This, Annalyn's deep voice echoed as she held something inside her maw, is the heavenly fruit. The object tumbled into Vincent's hands. He stared down at it, whispering in disbelief. Is this it? Julian leaned forward, unimpressed. It just seems like a rotten fruit. Vincent's fingers tightened around it as he murmured, uncertain. Is this really the heavenly fruit? Annalyn's form shifted again, shrinking back down until she stood once more as a woman. Her expression was calm as she nodded. Yes, it is. But it's incomplete. Vincent's eyes widened. Incomplete. Annalyn's gaze turned distant as she explained. Bisexual used to say that it is a god's miracle, made through fruit. Vincent looked down at the withered thing in his palm, frowning. A god's miracle? No. The divine power in this is way too weak. And I know what I'm talking about, since I have it flowing inside my body. Annalyn smiled faintly, continuing her explanation. There are bits of divine power in all things. We dragons are able to filter and store it, slowly, very slowly. And that's how pure divine power crystals form, the heavenly fruits. Her smile grew sharper. However, the creation of a proper heavenly fruit takes 100 years. Vincent gasped. Oh, 100 years. Julian quickly added, almost shouting at him. Mother got the last heavenly fruit 30 years ago at most. Vincent's mind raced as he did the math. If so, a proper heavenly fruit can only be obtained in 70 years. Annalyn stepped closer to him, her eyes locking onto his. Her tone was absolute. So the bet starts here. If you're truly the one who sees the truth that Arslan spoke of, then you can overcome any hardship and complete this withered heavenly fruit. Do that and make it your own. If you can't, you know what'll happen, right? Vincent gritted his teeth, glaring back. Just don't switch up on your words later. He looked down at the fruit once more, thoughts swirling inside his head. Let's think. A way to fill the withered heavenly fruit with divine power. Versa Hylame sat gracefully, her Grand Chamberlain Raelsa at her side. She spoke with calm authority. Thank you for coming all this way to Adenka, Priest Dullen. Across from her sat Priest Dullen, with Merlin Faulkner standing behind him. Dullen smiled politely. Oh, please, don't mention it. To spread the holy water made using the Holy Grail across the world. I need a trustworthy partner. Versa nodded. Of course, there are things the church cannot achieve alone. As a result, Dullen leaned forward, his tone serious. We want Adenka's help so we can reach even the places where the power left by the Holy King barely remains. We want to resolve this at the cheapest price possible. Would that be possible? Versa's eyes sharpened. I respect your good intentions, but as the Lady of Adenka, I cannot operate at a loss. This will be a long conversation. Meanwhile, Raelsa and Merlin walked together down the hall. The Chamberlain asked lightly, how's being a holy knight? Doable. Merlin smiled. Yes, more than I thought. Raelsa tilted her head. Did you suddenly gain faith after returning from the Holy King's grave? Merlin replied softly. Something like that. Someone changed my fate back there. I want to be helpful to him, for the extra life I obtained thanks to him. Suddenly, above Adenka, a massive magic circle appeared in the sky. Everyone, Railsa, Merlin, Dullen, Versa, looked up in shock. A gigantic beam of light crashed down near the outer buildings. Dust erupted everywhere. Stones flew. The entire city shook. Dullen gasped. What was that? A cannon shot. But Versa's expression turned grim. This mana, she sensed something, and then, through the dust, a familiar voice shouted. Vincian's voice echoed. No way. Can't you land any slower? The grass is going to be ruined. From the dust came Anneline's proud voice. What are you saying? If we don't land like this, it won't look cool. Through the haze, figures emerged. Vincian, Sari supporting the injured Hannah, and the dragon Anneline looming behind them. Railsa and Merlin cried out at once. Young master. Vincian. Vincian's eyes lit up. Railsa. Master. Versa stepped forward, her gaze fixed on the dragon. It really is you. The dragon blinked. HM, you know me. Versa nodded firmly. Yes. We met at the Nile Falls, back then. Anneline tilted her head, then grinned. So it's you. One of Sarvana's friends. Versa smiled faintly. So you remember. But Anneline's eyes shifted to the side. She rumbled. The other one is here too. At Adenka's house, Khan, who had been working quietly, froze. His eyes widened in shock as he realized who had just arrived. Anneline stared at the relic in Vincian's hands. Her voice rumbled with awe. Wow, this really is the holy grail that Lamagor once used. Did you actually manage to survive and return from that grave? Vincian held the cup carefully, its glow reflecting in his eyes. He nodded. Yes, and I received a message from the Holy King as well. The Holy Grail will lead you towards the heavenly fruit. Anneline narrowed her eyes, her tone thoughtful. To think, you've already fulfilled one of the two conditions. Vincian's heart leapt. He stepped forward eagerly. Then what's the other one? Miss Black Flame Dragon of Destruction and Death. Her expression sharpened. Her voice cut like steel. You're wrong. Vincian blinked, startled. Anneline suddenly roared in anger, flames curling in her throat. I am the Black Flame Dragon of Death and Destruction. Death is stronger, so it must go first. Vincian flinched and lowered his head. Yes. I apologize. The dragon growled, glaring down at him. Don't ever mistake it again. Got it. Vincian swallowed nervously. I'll try. Meanwhile, Priest Dullen knelt beside Hannah, his hands glowing faintly with divine light. Her wounds closed beneath his touch. It is all done, young lady, he said gently. Hannah smiled weakly. Thank you. As Dullen turned, his gaze fell on Sari. His eyes widened. Miss Sari, your face. Sari touched her cheek casually. I already applied medicine to this. Dullen frowned, unconvinced. Still, it might leave a scar. It would be best to treat it with divine power. Sari hesitated, her voice soft. I was already treated. But divine power doesn't seem to work on my body. Dullen froze, his expression shocked. Pardon? How could that be? Anneline's deep voice cut through the silence. She has the resistant body. Vincian turned quickly. Resistant body? But I thought Heiseli's special physique was called the magic body. Anneline shook her head. It's also called the resistant body. Bisaddle had it too. When there's too much mana inside a body, divine power cannot enter. It simply bounces away. The dragon exhaled slowly, almost in admiration. How fortunate. The two conditions needed to artificially complete the heavenly fruit are. She gestured first to the grail in Vincian's hand. The holy power contained in the grail. Then her claw pointed directly at Sari. And a human with the resistant body, one that will not obstruct the process. Sari's eyes widened in shock. She stammered. What? Me. Julian and Vincian both shouted at once. Sari too. Vincian turned to Julian, his face pale. So Heiseli's bloodline was also part of Arslan's plan. But Julian's mind was elsewhere. His thoughts churned in unease. Wait, isn't this situation too unnatural? Until now, Arslan only left behind relics and objects. But this feels like more than a simple arrangement. Almost as if he predicted the future. And then, Anneline's earlier words echoed in his head. The prophet's name is Julian. Julian froze, his breath caught in his throat. He whispered faintly to himself. No way. Vincian stepped forward, his voice steady but urgent. It may be sudden, but I ask this of you both. Will you help me complete the heavenly fruit? Sari hesitated, her hands trembling slightly. I am not sure, but if I can, I'll do my best. Priest Dulin placed a reassuring hand on the grail. You lent it to me for a while, but you're still the true owner of this holy grail. Use it as you please. Anneline's eyes softened as she watched the three of them together. A strange feeling stirred in her chest. These three, they're just like. For a moment, images of her old companions flashed before her. Her expression dimmed. Her thoughts were broken by a sharp voice. Versa had arrived. Dragon, are you planning on giving the heavenly fruit to Vincent? Anneline blinked, caught off guard. Yeah. What about it? Versa's voice trembled, heavy with memory. Is Vincent going to die? Just like that child, 50 years ago. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Anneline did not answer. Meanwhile, Dulin continued pouring divine power into the grail, carefully guiding the holy energy inside. As light gathered within the relic, Anneline finally turned back to Versa. So, you want to know why that child, Sarvana, died? Versa's jaw tightened. Yes. Anneline looked straight at her. What do you think? Versa's voice was low but firm. Something as powerful as the heavenly fruit cannot be created so easily. There must be a price for it. For example, someone's life. Anneline nodded slowly. Yes, exactly as you say. The condition for leaving my cave alive was this. Someone with Heiseley blood had to obtain the heavenly fruit. And for that, a sacrifice was required. Whoever is chosen suffers a curse of frailty that can never be undone. Not even eating the heavenly fruit can erase it. Versa's face paled. By curse you mean. Memories crashed over her. She saw herself years ago, pounding on a locked door. Sarvana, open up. Why aren't you eating the heavenly fruit? Are you going to die like this? If you don't answer, I'll break down the door. She forced it open, only to find Sarvana inside, hurriedly changing clothes. Versa froze as she noticed a strange tattoo drawn across her friend's back. That tattoo, what is it? Sarvana whipped around, her face red. What are you doing, Versa? You've got no manners. The memory shattered, and Versa returned to the present. Anneline's voice was heavy with sorrow. Even knowing everything, Sarvana chose to give her life for the heavenly fruit. No, she sacrificed herself to save all of you. Versa lowered her gaze, silent. After a long pause, she whispered, Then what about Vincent? Anneline rumbled softly. Don't worry. If the correct method is followed, he can live even after obtaining the heavenly fruit. So far, everything is going well. Meanwhile, Dulin's divine energy continued to flow into the grail. The vessel glowed brighter, brimming with holy power. Finally, Dulin collapsed to his knees, his forehead damp with sweat. He forced a weak smile. I put in as much divine power as I could. I hope you get what you want with this. The priest swayed and fell unconscious. Priest Dulin, Vincent shouted, rushing forward. But Merlin caught the priest before he hit the ground. Don't worry. He just fainted from using too much power. Vincent's voice softened. Thank you, priest. Hey, are you done? We're going back now. Vincent straightened quickly. Ah, yes. Merlin stepped forward, glancing at the unconscious priest. Leave this to me and go, he said firmly. Vincent bowed his head. Yes, master. Please take care of the priest. Anneline clapped her claws together. Okay, let's go. With a snap of her fingers, a massive light engulfed them. In the blink of an eye, they were gone, teleported away. Versa stood in silence, watching the light fade. Then she turned her head slightly. You're here? Patriarch. From the shadows, Khan approached her slowly. Have you found out why Sarvana died? Versa's eyes darkened. For the sake of the heavenly fruit. No, for the sake of saving our lives. Khan lowered his gaze. I see, just as I thought. Versa's voice softened, tinged with guilt. Hey, Khan. But he shook his head gently. It's okay, Versa. It's meaningful that we finally know the truth. Only now do I feel ready to send her off. The scene shifted. Sari stood before the grail, cradling the divine fruit in her hands. She whispered to herself, All right, shall we begin? Slowly, she lowered the fruit toward the holy water glowing inside the grail. The instant it touched the surface, Anneline's voice thundered across the chamber. Wait. Anneline's eyes went wide as she suddenly screamed. Wait. Startled, Sari fumbled. The heavenly fruit slipped from her hands and tumbled down. And before anyone could react, it fell straight into the Holy Grail. The moment fruit and grail touched, a dazzling light erupted, bathing the chamber in divine radiance. Anneline's face twisted in alarm. Artificial heavenly fruits disappear after 1 hour. How can you just throw it in without any preparations? Vincent stiffened. What? Anneline pressed her hand against her temple, frustration boiling over. The heavenly fruit isn't just a fruit. It's a miracle from the gods. If you swallow it without proper preparations, the body won't withstand it. It will explode. Vincent froze, taken aback by the grim revelation. Sari's eyes filled with guilt as her voice trembled. Oh no, because of me. But Vincent's gaze sharpened. His voice cut through firmly. No, it's okay. My body is already dying anyway. Besides, he clenched his fists, determination blazing. I can't just abandon Arslan's arrangement now that it's finally in my grasp. Even if it means risking my life, I'll seize the power of this heavenly fruit. Anneline's sharp eyes caught something gleaming. Hey, that ring. Vincent turned immediately. Sari, complete the heavenly fruit. Yes, young master. Sari answered quickly, channeling her power. The grail shone brighter as holy energy fused with the fruit. Vincent's breath hitched as he laid eyes on the glowing miracle in Sari's hands. Ugh, that's the heavenly fruit. Congratulations, Vincent, Anneline said, her tone oddly gentle. As she spoke, her petite childlike form shimmered and stretched, reshaping into the figure of a grown woman. You've won this bet. Vincent blinked in disbelief. Did she age? That form. Before he could say more, Hannah rushed in, covering his eyes with her hands. Vincent, you're too young to be looking at that. Sari puffed her cheeks in outrage. What kind of shameless behavior is that in front of the young master? Her protest faltered, though, as her gaze caught something etched on Anneline's bare back, a tattoo. That shape, she whispered. Anneline's lips curled. Oh, you recognize it? Memories surged up from Sari's childhood. She remembered working for the Andika family, sneaking a glimpse of Lady Sarvana's back. Sarvana had caught her stare and laughed softly. Ah, I've been caught. Shoo, this is our little secret, okay? Back in the present, Sari's voice quivered. It's the same mark Lady Sarvana bore on her back. Anneline's expression turned grave. The heavenly fruit requires a price. To accelerate the growth of one person, the withering of another is accelerated as well. Julian's eyes hardened as he spoke to Vincent. That's why she said it was a bet with our lives. Vincent's jaw tightened. So you planned, from the very beginning, to sacrifice yourself for the heavenly fruit. Anneline only smiled, her beauty radiant, almost mocking. Hee, what do you think? Am I pretty? Then she pointed at the fruit, her tone turning sharp again. Hey, the heavenly fruit won't last forever. If you're going to eat it, now's the time. Vincent took the fruit into his hands, its light pulsing with power. Well then, Anneline murmured with a bitter smile. Let's watch the final scene of my grave. Vincent stared down at the fruit, awe and determination surging through him. I really obtained the heavenly fruit. With this, I'll get one step closer to the truth Arslan left behind. Vincent bit into the heavenly fruit. At once, its overwhelming energy surged through his body. His veins bulged, his muscles spasmed, and his throat ripped open with a scream of agony. Blood poured from his mouth as the power raged inside him like wildfire. Young master, Sari cried in terror. Vincent, Hannah shouted desperately. Anneline's dragon voice boomed, steady and commanding. Endure. Failure means death. If you are truly the one who seeks the truth, you must live, so that my own ending will not be pathetic. Vincent's mind thrashed as his body burned from within. My body, it's burning. This overflowing power, it's scorching me alive. Even Anneline's eyes wavered with hesitation at the sight of his suffering. Anneline, Hannah screamed. At this rate, Vincent will die? Isn't there any way to help him? The dragoness smirked faintly. I was wondering when you'd ask. She snapped her clawed fingers. In an instant, the ring on Vincent's hand vanished and reappeared in Hannah's palm. That ring, it belongs to Abel Tan and Helaim, doesn't it? Anneline asked. Hannah's eyes widened. How do you know that? Anneline's tone grew distant, almost nostalgic. That foolish Helaim girl. She loved Ableton so much, she would rather suffer in his place than let him be harmed. That's why she enchanted the ring with her wish and split it in two. Once, only once, it allows the wearer to bear the pain of the one holding the other half. But beware, the torment surpasses the limit a human can endure. If you fail to withstand it, you'll die as well. So, Hannah, will you still do it? Hannah slid the ring onto her trembling finger. Her eyes blazed with resolve. There's nothing to hesitate about. I can't let my brother suffer. Annalyn chuckled with envy. Cool. I'm jealous. The two rings pulsed with light, their magic resonating. The glow linked Vincent's hand with Hannah's. Immediately, Hannah screamed as the unbearable pain transferred into her body. But for Vincent, the agony dulled. His eyes widened in relief. The pain, it's lessening? He looked at his sister, writhing in torment for his sake. Hannah, she's helping me. Thank you. Your resolve won't go to waste. I will make this power mine. Sari watched, tears streaming down her cheeks. Young master, young lady. Annalyn's gaze softened, but her voice remained stern. What a mess. Besaddle was the same. Whenever someone was hurt, she cried. But tears won't resolve anything. Grow strong, Sari. Raise the honor of Heisley alongside him. Make sure the world remembers Besaddle. Sari wiped her eyes and nodded firmly. Yes. A massive explosion erupted, engulfing everything in blinding light. That's... Sari gasped. Even Annalyn tilted her head, puzzled. I don't know exactly either. Arslan never told me the details. But there's one thing I do know. Today, in my grave, a hero was born. From within the storm of energy, Vincent emerged. Half his body was charred and burned, but his eyes burned brighter than ever. As the new chapter begins, Annalyn shouts in frustration. No, I don't want to. I gave you the heavenly fruit, and I even spared your maid and sister. Why do I have to help with your training? Vincent looks at her with expectation and replies. I'm still not used to my body after being enhanced by the heavenly fruit. Please help me. But Annalyn snaps back angrily. I don't want to clean up after you when I don't even know when I might die. Vincent stays calm and answers. My mother lived for quite a while even after becoming the sacrifice for the heavenly fruit. As a dragon, you'll last even longer, won't you? Annalyn growls, still furious. Still, why should I help you? Vincent meets her gaze and says firmly, I'll make sure your name is never forgotten. Annalyn scoffs, her face turning cold. I don't care if humans remember me or not. Vincent pushes further. What about your comrades? A mischievous dragon like you kept her promise with them for hundreds of years, and even sacrificed her life. Why? Because the promise you made with them was more important to you than anything else, right? Annalyn falls silent, listening, her playful nature fading. Vincent continues. The records of them are being distorted and lost. The story of the heroes who sacrificed themselves shouldn't be erased like this. I'll set things right, so help me, Annalyn. Her expression softens as memories of her past comrades flood back. Finally, she speaks quietly. Promise me one thing. The mood is tense, but suddenly she snaps back into her mischievous self, grinning. Make sure the parts about me are the fanciest, befitting of the black flame dragon of end and destruction. Vincent chuckles. Wasn't it death and destruction? Oh, right, Arg. When an adult speaks, just listen, Annalyn barks. Vincent bursts out laughing. Ha! Dee don't laugh? She yells, flustered. Vincent thinks to himself. Yes, I'll make sure to tell your story. Later, inside a cave, Vincent studies the ring and says, so it can create a subspace. When the ring is separated, it shares pain. But when it's linked, it works as a hideout. Annalyn nods. Yes, it's perfect for your training right now, and its power doesn't end there. It even holds time manipulation magic. 3 years inside equals just 1 year outside. But since the ring is already 200 years old, there are limits. You can only stay in the subspace for 6 years at most, and it can only be created once. Also, only I can freely enter and leave. Vincent looks at the ring gratefully. Thank you. He activates it, and a portal opens. Annalyn's eyes widen. Hey, wait. Are you trying to enter it now? Without hesitation, Vincent jumps in, with Juliana following. Stop. It wouldn't hurt to wait a little, you know? Annalyn shouts, rushing after them. Inside the subspace, Vincent mutters. It's dark. Juliana adds. And there's nothing here. Annalyn arrives moments later, glaring. Hey, I told you to wait. Even I can only enter here once a fortnight. Juliana whispers, confused. I thought she said she could enter it freely. Anneline's dragon voice thundered through the darkness. How long do you think a human can survive here alone? She snarled. Within a month, you'll lose your mind. Vincent smirked faintly. If I'm alone, that is. From his side, Julian appeared, grinning with the same confidence. Vincent looked straight at Anneline. Then, do you want to make a bet? If I last a month, you'll become my delivery dragon. Anneline bared her fangs with amusement. Oh ho, fine. But if you fail, you'll be my slave. No takebacks. Time shifted. The scene moved to a frozen jungle. A massive frost tiger prowled through the icy mist. In her human form, Anneline stood before the beast, her eyes sharp. Fearless bastard, she muttered. Raising her hand, her voice roared. How dare you bare your fangs to the black flame dragon of death and destruction. She unleashed her attack. The clash shook the ground. Until the tiger was completely obliterated, nothing left behind. Anneline exhaled with a half-smile. All right, I was supposed to leave meat. Later, she filled a bottle with water, adding a drop of her own blood. The blood of a dying dragon, she thought. Still, it has its uses. Her brow furrowed with irritation. Vincent, that stubborn kid, to think he'd really last a month. Inside the black space, Vincent's power kept growing, his presence steady and unyielding. Anneline returned, carrying supplies. Hey, haven't you gone crazy yet? She teased. Vincent answered calmly. Ah, it's already been a fortnight. She narrowed her eyes. How is your mind this strong? Were you locked in prison for a decade or something? Well, Vincent said quietly, something like that. In any case, she pressed. Are you really going to stay here until the ring's power runs dry? Yes, Vincent replied firmly. So thanks in advance for the next fortnight, delivery dragon of death and destruction. Anneline ground her teeth in frustration. So irritating. How did I get caught up with a guy like this? She stormed out of the portal, but her steps slowed. Her expression softened into a smile. Still, he promised me that he'd fix your stories. Just wait a little longer. We'll see each other soon. Vincent practiced his sword, using his skill. A huge white light burst out. The light shot into the sky like a towering pillar. 2 years later, equal to 6 years inside the subspace, Vincent practiced his attack on a mountain. He smiled, pleased with his progress. Anneline sat sideways on the mountain above him. She smiled and said, Hee, you're quite the man now. At this level, most mages won't be a match for you. Vincent knelt on one knee, showing respect. He said, I express my sincere gratitude to the faithful dragon, who carried on her friends' legacies. They must have thought the same in the past. Anneline paused for a moment. Then, as she started fading, she said, Don't be stingy and use it properly. Vincent kept his head bowed and asked, Pardon. Julian spoke to Vincent. Hey, lift your head. Vincent looked up and said softly, rest comfortably now, black flame dragon of death and destruction. Anneline vanished completely, leaving only her enormous skeletal remains behind. Chapter 140. The battlefield was engulfed in chaos. Magic beams rained down, striking soldiers without mercy. Smoke and dust clouded the air, screams echoing everywhere. We're getting bombed. Put up the shield magic, a soldier shouted, panic in his voice. Others raised their shields, struggling to deflect the deadly beams as the ground shook beneath them. The commander of the battalion stared in disbelief. Damn, am I seeing things? Aren't those our soldiers? Horror gripped him as he saw some soldiers attacking their own comrades. They had clearly lost their minds, their wills stolen by some dark, invisible force. Determined to take control of the situation, the commander turned to a nearby magician. I'll go to the front line myself. Mage squad, prepare to cover me. Yes, SIR, came the unified reply. Raising his voice to rally the defenders, the commander shouted, We can't let anyone into this fortress. But before he could act, something appeared directly in front of him, a dark, terrifying presence. The archdemon Davin manifested in all his glory. His towering form, shrouded in shadow, exuded pure malice. The magician behind the commander tried to speak. Commander? Are you ALRI? But the words never left his mouth. The commander's throat was cut in an instant. The fortress erupted into chaos. Under the archdemon's influence, the commander slaughtered all the magicians, succumbing to the evil spirit's control himself. "Commander, what's going on?" cried the remaining magicians, fear etched on their faces. The possessed commander gave a single, chilling command to the soldiers under the spirit's control. Attack! Flames and destruction spread rapidly. The city, once bustling, was now burning, buildings collapsing, streets swallowed by fire. Meanwhile, at the Crimson Fortress, Wilson and Sari waited. Wilson, excitedly. "You've gotten even cooler in 2 years' time." Sari, smiling. "The training must have been successful." Vincent nodded, responding humbly. "You guys worked hard too. I'm sorry to bother you as soon as I'm back, but I have a favor to ask." His eyes widened as he noticed something troubling. "Soldiers of our family? Why are they at the fortress?" Wilson explained calmly. "They're probably recruiting supporting troops." Vincent's brow furrowed. "Supporting troops?" Wilson continued, his tone serious. "There have been random, unidentifiable disturbances across the continent lately. Recently, a commander in charge of defending a fortress on the outskirts went rogue and attacked his own UG. Sari added, "There are both big and small incidents, so they're recruiting cadets as well." Vincent fell silent, thinking for a moment. Something strange. Later, outside the office, Vincent called out, "Headmistress, are you there? I am here to report my return." He knocked on the door. Suddenly, a violent attack came from inside, and he was caught off guard, ropes binding him tightly. From the shadows, Herka Kabel appeared, a sly smile on her face. "Huh. Interesting. Who dares to be so bold to emit this kind of manna in front of the headmistress's office? Let's see your face." Herka's gaze fell upon Vincent. "Huh? You're Vincent," she said, examining him carefully. Vincent, still tired, smiled faintly. "It's been a while, headmistress." Herka tilted her head, studying him. "Oh, I guess the heavenly fruit really must be quite good, huh? You've changed so much. You're taller than me now. Forget rank 1. You could defeat a breakthrough martial artist right now." She sighed, running a hand through her hair. Vincent asked quietly, "Are you not happy about your cadet's growth?" Herka frowned, touching her forehead. "Well, don't you remember? You're still a rank 8 cadet. If it stays like this, what will the others learn? They won't have anything to say except, 'Wow, Vincent is the best, and Vincent is so cool.' Ark, so annoying. Should I just give you the breakthrough rank now? How does that make any sense?" A voice called from outside the room. "Headmistress, this is the rank 8 cadet representative." Julian glanced up, curious. "The new rank 8 rep?" Vincent spoke, eyes narrowing slightly. "Who is it?" Herka nodded. "Oh yeah, come in." A polite voice echoed through the doorway. "Greetings, headmistress." Julian's eyes widened as he saw her. "That's..." The girl spoke clearly, introducing herself formally. "Rank 8 Cadet Representative Loa Radenka is here to report." She continued, stating her full title. Rank 8 Cadet Representative and the 8th direct descendant of Adenka, Loa Adenka. Loa glanced at Vincent. "Oh, you had a visitor. I will come back later." Herka shook her head. "No, it's fine. You should know each other." Loa's eyes widened in shock. "Know each other? No way, good-for-nothing brother Vincent." Julian's face flushed with anger, while Vincent simply folded his hands, observing quietly. Julian fumed, voice rising. That better bump her pinky toe super hard on the corner of a desk leg, making her toenail loose. And also," Vincent sighed, trying to calm him. "Calm down, Julian." He thought to himself. Loa did bother young Vincent quite a lot. It makes sense that Julian is this angry. Loa walked closer to Vincent. "I think it's been around 7 years since we've properly seen each other. I did hear you had changed." She thought to herself. And it's not like he changed a little. He seems like a completely different person. Vincent met her gaze. "It's been a while, Loa." Loa looked slightly to the side, teasing. "Oh, brother, I thought you were supposed to talk formally to me." Vincent smiled faintly, looking elsewhere. "Ah, I remember." He placed a hand gently on her head. "Would you like it more if I spoke like this, sister?" Loa gritted her teeth and snapped her head back. "Move your hand." Her voice rose, sharp and frustrated. "Don't belittle me. Every day since I became a rank 8 cadet representative, I was told that I'd have to give up this position to Vincent once he comes back. Everyone was saying this, even the instructors. I was treated as a simple alternative to Vincian. Once Vincian returns, once Vincian returns, once Vincian returns. I'm a direct descendant of a Denka too. Don't belittle me. Finally, she drew her sword and smiled fiercely. It's a competition. You'll have to prove whether your exploits are real or not. Vincian smiled subtly, looking down at her. You'll regret it. Loa pointed her sword toward Vincian, her eyes blazing. It's a competition, brother Vincian. Herka watched quietly, thinking to herself. Arg, she's young, so young. I guess Loa can't see that. The difference in their level is so great that she can't even estimate the power gap between them. It's pointless to even fight Sha. Then Herka sighed, a sudden idea lighting up her eyes. Then you two can have a gladiatorial battle. She continued, excitement in her voice. No, since it's come to this, let's have everyone who has time come watch. Vincian opened his mouth to speak. Headmistress, but Herka interrupted. Let's raise the stakes, shall we? We'll have it in a week at the fortress. Sometime later, the scene shifted to a cave in the mountains. Loa's maid called out anxiously. Young Lady Loa? Young Lady Loa, are you truly going to duel young Master Vincian? Loa smiled confidently. Yes, and I plan on winning. I'm going to beat him and have him kneel on the floor. She recalled the past, thoughts flashing through her mind. Vincian, you're fated to submit to me. It is fitting for you to cry like a child after my beating, just like 5 years ago. Yet you dare, look down on me with that gaze. Her devilish smile widened as she continued thinking. I'll make you pay for that. I can't wait to see him get embarrassed in front of everyone. The maid spoke nervously. But the rumors about young Master Vincian are incredible. Youngest engraving, the sole victor of the friendly exchange meeting. On top of that, he made great achievements in Maeltum and Helheim. Loa ignored her, smiling coldly. Rumors are bound to get exaggerated, Bella. Still, I know what you're worried about. But there's no need to be concerned. There's no way Vincian would beat me. After all, she laughed, almost crazily. Vincian will lose without being able to show a single move. Just you wait, Vincian. A demonic sword appeared, glowing ominously. Loa's voice continued, sharp and playful. As soon as he accepted the duel, he got trapped in my spider web and lost the last chance to save his face. She opened a coffin behind her, smiling wickedly. The scene shifted again. Selbyra attacked, shouting fiercely. Hiya! Vincian blocked effortlessly. Sizen shouted, frustrated. Selbyra, don't let him block this. Suddenly, Vincian vanished from between Selbyra and Sizen, appearing behind them. Both Sizen and Selbyra froze in shock. Sizen stammered. Where did he? As they both tried to attack from different sides, Sizen and Selbyra accidentally collided head-on. Ouch! Vincian's voice came from the side, calm and confident. Shall we end things here? Sizen, still stunned, replied. Why ya? Excited, Sizen exclaimed. Incredible, Vincian. I didn't even see you move. You've gotten super strong in 2 years. Selbyra chimed in. Yeah. Then she muttered to herself, blushing. He got even more handsome. Vincian smiled faintly. You guys got way stronger too. You even rose to rank 7. Sizen's face lit up. It's all thanks to you. He continued, serious now. If you hadn't led us back then, it would have been impossible. Vincian smiled faintly, watching the battle unfold. Suddenly, from behind him, a huge dwarven hand came crashing down, aiming straight for his head. Vincian noticed it just in time. He moved his wooden sword with precision, deflecting the attack effortlessly. Smiling, he spoke calmly. Long time no see, Revan. Revan, defending himself against Vincian's strikes, grinned back. How upsetting. You didn't contact me once during those 2 years. Sizen, curious, asked Vincian. Who is that Vincian? Vincian replied casually. My friend Revan Adenka. He turned to Revan, nodding. You were up to lots too, Revan. Your Dwarf King's defense has gotten stronger. Revan replied proudly. Of course. I need to have an ability that doesn't put you to shame. My defense, at the very least, is probably stronger than yours. Vincian chuckled. I can't wait to find out. Revan smirked. Won't you show me the results of your training too? Vincian shook his head. No, I have old plans to attend to. Turning to Selbyra, Vincian asked. Selbyra, where's Raven? I promised I'd duel him when I got back. Selbyra hesitated for a moment. Ah, well, Raven. She told Vincian something that made him freeze in shock. Sometime later, the scene changed. Vincent and Julian were talking quietly. Vincent read from a newspaper. Young Master Raven Vartican missing. He and his attendant went out of contact during a mission. Julian frowned. The attendant must be Mr. Serkan. Did he get swept up into the disturbance that Wilson mentioned? Vincent continued reading. It seems so according to the newspaper. He thought to himself, no matter how I look at this, it must be the doing of Davin's evil spirits. Right now, somewhere, the same incidents from Maeltum and Helheim are repeating. Raven Mr. Serkan. Vincent gritted his teeth, rolling the newspaper into a tight cylinder. I must destroy Nightmare's plans as quickly as I can. Julian spoke. To do that, you first need to get the freedom of movement. Vincent sighed. Yes, I'm a cadet for the next few years. Pushing Loa away won't lead me to break through immediately. Is there a way to leave the fortress quickly? As he spoke, Julian noticed something below. From the top of a building, Vincent and Julian looked down. A woman was shouting at the gatekeeper. Let me in for now. I'm so cold I might die, she called. The gatekeeper responded nervously. Why you can't? You must identify yourself first. Vincent turned to Julian. I don't know who that is, but she sure is rude. Julian frowned, but then recognition lit up his face. Yes, but that woman. I recognize her. Oh, I think I found it. Vincent asked. What? Julian smiled. The way to quickly leave the fortress. The girl shouted to the guard below. I'm Maria, a top reporter from Sound of Wind. Let me meet Vincent Adenka. We see Maria sitting inside the room. Sari approaches, serving her tea. Here's some hot tea. Maria, sipping the tea, replies. Thank you. Sari leans close to Vincent's ear, quietly asking. Who is that, young master? Maria, finishing her tea, smiles and introduces herself. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Maria, a top reporter from the Sound of Wind. Vincent asks. You mean the continent's leading news company? Maria chuckles. Haha, it's nothing much. Vincent, sitting, speaks to her. To come without any preparations for the cold of the north, that was dangerous. Maria replies. I had no choice. I came as soon as I heard about you. Vincent asks curiously. Why did you want to see me so urgently? Suddenly, Maria points her finger at Vincent and speaks. A hunch. I had a hunch as a top reporter. You're a troublemaker who has caused tons of incidents, so you're like a walking exclusive scoop. Julian, from the side, comments. She has great insight befitting a top reporter. Vincent replies to him. Yes, I guess she really is the person you remembered. Vincent thinks to himself. The one who reported about our deeds in Helheim 2 years ago most quickly and thoroughly. I managed to recognize her only thanks to Julian's memories. Vincent, smiling, thinks further. Well then, shall we move on to the next stage? Vincent speaks aloud. All right, if you desire an exclusive this much, I'll provide one to the Sound of Wind. Maria suddenly stands from her seat, excited. Really? Vincent ponders. As for the title of the article. Some time passes. A man reads the newspaper, astonished. My goodness, no way. The scene shifts to a stadium. The stadium is packed with people who came to watch Vincent duel. Sizen shouts from the audience. You got this, Vincent. Beside him, Selbyra also shouts. Let's go. Dwarf Hansen, alongside Railsa, comments. Oh, it's been 2 years. Abel, the fourth direct descendant of Attica, sits in the audience, speaking. He's finally showing himself, huh? 2 elders of the Attica family are also present in the audience. Herka smiles and speaks. I wanted to have you skip a few ranks through this, but things have escalated too much. Vargan II, the patriarch and mistress of the Attica family, are also present in the audience. Other reporters in the stadium, reading newspapers, comment aloud. Vincent Adenka's sudden return. I will prove to my siblings that I am worthy of being a direct descendant. The article is incredible. Another reporter, glancing at Maria, adds, We lost this exclusive to the Sound of Wind again. Maria thinks to herself, Okay, I've spread the news far and wide as you wanted. The rest is up to you, young Master Vincent. Vincent's calm and collected, observing. On the other side, Loa looks pensive, thinking, What's going on? Wasn't this supposed to be a simple duel? Then she smirks, thinking further. No, this is even better. All of those eyes will bear witness to Vincent's loss. Revan, acting as referee, raises a white flag and speaks. I am the mediator, Revan Adenka. Both sides ready up. Revan thinks to himself, how did I get this role? Revan remembers a past moment, speaking. What? You want me to mediate the duel? Vincent speaks. Your Dwarf King trait can definitely help you with that. Revan replies. That's not the point. There are others, so why me? Vincent smiles and speaks. I want to show you just how much stronger the one you pledged allegiance to has gotten. Back to the present, Revan smiles, showing his teeth, and signals to start the fight. He thinks to himself, yes, show me, Vincent. Begin. Loa Adenka draws her sword, smiling, and speaks. I'll embarrass you in a way you'll never forget, brother. Lift your crimson lotus. Vincent speaks, calm. How arrogant. Loa, slightly taken aback and confused, asks. What? Vincent continues. All I am saying is that you are too weak to face Crimson Lotus. Vincent calls out. Wilson. Wilson hands a wooden sword to Vincent and replies. Yes. Vincent speaks. On the day of the assembly of true swords, I received 4 handicaps. A past memory shows Vincent dueling Revan. He recalls, speaking. No moving. A wooden sword. My left hand. Attacking second. Back to the present, Vincent speaks again. Today, I'll have 3 of those handicaps, excluding attacking second. Loa grits her teeth, angered, and shouts. Brother, just how much longer will you look down on me for you to be satisfied? She laughs frantically as she pulls out her sword. I'll teach you. Who is the one being arrogant here? A memory flashback shows Loa's maid speaking. Did you seal my mana? Loa replies. Yes, that's right. Athena's sword. I secretly obtained it when Helheim was a mess. Whoever looks at the eye on this sword has their mana sealed. The effect lasts temporarily, but it's fatal in a duel. Loa's maid adds. Having your mana sealed is basically like death for a martial artist. Loa smiles while speaking. Yes, no matter how strong you are, you'll inevitably show a gap. And that gap will lead to Vincent's loss. Loa uses her sword skill to seal mana. Vincent looks at the sword's eye, mana being sealed. Vincent's mana is sealed, and Loa smiles, thinking to herself. It worked. Now Vincent can't use mana. Loa jumps, targeting Vincent as he moves forward. Loa shouts, I'll cut your left arm off, brother. Vincent remains still as Loa moves at full speed toward him. Vincent speaks. You'll cut my arm? With just a handle? Loa smiles faintly, but her sword has no blade. Loa and even Revan are shocked, realizing what has happened. The sword blade is cut and flies into the air, finally landing far away. Loa thinks to herself, no way. I'm sure Vincent couldn't use mana. Loa's hand starts trembling, thinking further. Did he destroy this sword with physical strength alone? Vincent, holding his wooden sword, speaks. Shall we begin? I'll prove my abilities as you wished, sister. Loa thinks to herself. Why did my sword break? I don't understand. How is that possible without mana? I didn't even see Vincent move his sword. Just, what is happening? Vincent smiles and speaks. What's wrong, Loa? Are you already acknowledging your loss? Loa grits her teeth, full of anger. Loa, sweating a little, speaks. You must have played a trick on my sword. Why yes. Otherwise, there's no way you could beat me. Vincent looks at Revan and speaks. If that's what you think. Revan looks at his sword and asks. Why are you looking at me? Revan, gripping his sword tightly, shouts. And no. I worked so hard to buy this sword. Vincent speaks. If your sword breaks, I'll ask Blacksmith Hansen to make you a new one of the highest quality. Revan hands the sword to Loa and says. Take this, my lady. Loa speaks while holding the sword. Well, this sword isn't bad at all. As soon as she holds the sword, Vincent slashes it, cutting it instantly. Loa and Revan both look at the cut sword in shock. Vincent speaks. Satisfied. Loa grits her teeth, holding only the sword handle. You. Loa shouts to her maid. Bella, bring me my swords. All of them. I refuse to stand by. Blade fragments fly across the stadium. Loa starts sweating again. From the audience, someone speaks. That's the 7th one. I heard she challenged him herself. But she's no match to him. Another says. Just how bold is she to challenge the 7th young master? Loa kneels surrounded by flying sword blades, thinking to herself. No way. Is Vincent really this strong? Then there was no chance for me to win from the start. It's like, I willingly walked into Vincent's trap. Conversa speaks. They're in different leagues. Also, seeing him have such overwhelming power reminds me of when you consumed a heavenly fruit. Khan continues. Yes, in the last 2 years, Vincian has completely made the power of the heavenly fruit his own. Vincian looks at Loa. Revan from the side speaks. Young lady Loa, do you wish to continue the duel? Loa does not reply. Revan speaks. I've assessed Loa Adenka as unable to continue the battle. The winner. Vincian Adenka. Suddenly, someone comes flying toward Vincian with a sword. Vincian smiles to himself. He's coming. Revan, protect Loa. The person attacks Vincian at full speed. Saizen shouts. What happened? Salibra shouts. Someone jumped into the arena. Revan uses his dwarf blessing to form a shield, protecting Loa from the attack. What's going on? Vincian speaks. Long time no see. Dust settles. Vincian speaks. Fifth direct descendant, Damien. Damien exclaims. Wow, did you see that coming and dodged? Incredible. Smiling, Damien continues. Nice. I've decided. Duel me too, Vincian. Herka shouts from the side. Hey, Damien. How can you run in without permission? Damien replies. Oh, right. I'm rank 7 cadet representative, Damien Adenka. Can I fight? Herka thinks to herself. I can't stop him. That fighting lunatic always starts things and thinks later. Vincian speaks. It's fine with me. Damien replies to Herka. That's what he says. Herka thinks. He's not even acting surprised. Is this all part of his plan too? Yes. Let's see how far you can go. Herka smiles and speaks. As the headmistress, I permit the duel. Fight as much as you want. Damien takes a stance to attack Vincian. Smiling and readying his attack, Damien speaks. It'll be best to come at full force, Vincian. Damien uses his blessing. Wheel of Fire. He smiles and continues. Otherwise, you might die. Abel, sitting in the audience, thinks. Damien's blessing, Wheel of Fire, comes from a fire god capable of creating powerful explosions. Each of those rings has enough power to blow up a mountain. When it comes to destructive power alone, Damien is the strongest among all 8 siblings. Damien moves forward toward Vincian at full speed. He attacks Vincian, a huge blast happening. A massive explosion erupts, cracking the ground and sending a huge cloud of fire into the air. The audience feels the heat and shouts. Ugh, so hot. Revan, watching the match, recalls his memory while speaking to Vincian. My defense, at the very least, is probably stronger than yours. I can't wait to find out. Revan smiles to himself. Can't wait to find out. My ass. Even his defense is stronger than mine now. Damien's attack hits, but Vincian uses his dwarf blessing to protect himself. Damien, shocked, says, Huh, no way. Then Damien's mood shifts to admiration, and he speaks. Vincian, you're incredible. How did you block my attack? The other siblings have only ever dodged it. You're the first to block it. Revan from the side speaks. Young Master Damien? The match. Damien, smiling, interrupts. Why ask something so obvious? I can't beat Vincian and surrender. Revan speaks. Then, the winner is Vincian Adenka. Maria speaks. The real fun starts now. The colleague writing the event asks Maria. What do you mean, Maria? Maria continues. Young Master Vincian beat the 6th direct descendant when he was a rank 9, and now he's defeated the 8th young lady and the 5th young master. Then who's next? Vincian points his sword toward the 4th descendant, Abel, sitting in the audience. Abel starts sweating and speaks. Ah shit. Vincian speaks. Will you teach me a trick or two, Abel? Vincian points his sword at Abel and speaks. Please come down. What's wrong, Abel? No way are you scared. Abel sweats and thinks. To be able to block Damien's attack that easily. Let's calm down. It's true that Vincian has gotten much stronger, but there must be a way to beat him. Abel tries to calculate every trick in his mind. I'm a genius who has learned all of Adenka's sword techniques. I can respond to any situation, he thinks. There's no such thing as a martial artist with no weaknesses. Vincian also must have some. But why can't I see any? Seeing all of Vincian's blessings, Abel thinks. Attack, defense, all of it. There's no gap to go through. Vincian strikes. Abel inhales sharply, panting and sweating, speaking. Abel shouts. Don't make me laugh. This makes no sense. There has to be at least one way I can win. Thinking frantically, Abel continues. Please, Just one. But Vincent defeats him in every way possible. Abel thinks, no way. We haven't even fought yet. But I've already lost hundreds of times. I can never beat Vincent. After calculating everything in his mind, Abel hears a voice beside him. Abel, Abel, young Master Abel. Are you okay? Abel comes back to himself and speaks. Ah, yes. Abel thinks, if I lose to Vincent in front of all these people, I will basically have no chance in the air competition. But if I don't fight, I'll be remembered as a coward. In the audience, people whisper among themselves. Well, who would even think of challenging young Master Vincent after seeing his power? At this rate, Vincent could aim to become the next patriarch. Damien smiles meanwhile, while Loa is still crying. Elder Fidenel grits her teeth and speaks. That scoundrel Vincent has finally caused trouble. If he proves himself here, the original balance of power in the air competition, and our plan to encroach upon Adenka will be completely ruined. Fidenel shouts, we have to stop this duel immediately. Vincent mustn't show himself any further. Herka walks toward the elder and speaks. Oh my, I can't let that happen. Fidenel responds. Headmistress Herka. Herka smiles and speaks. Duels within the fortress are completely within my authority. Oh, and I have no plans on stopping this one, Elder Fidenel. Fidenel grits her lips, a little blood appearing, and speaks angrily. You stupid girl. Vincent shouts from the stadium below. Okay, Abel. Hurry up and decide. The audience is waiting. Will you accept my challenge or run away? Abel pants, sweating, and speaks. Why? Suddenly, a voice comes from behind. A martial artist who's dodging a challenge? Are you trying to dishonor the name of Adenka? Abel looks shocked and speaks. How are you here, eldest brother? The audience sees Carmen and starts whispering excitedly. Whoa, wow. Young Master Carmen. I thought he was on the pirate archipelago. Things are getting bigger and bigger. Julian shouts. He's finally here. Vincent nods and speaks to Julian. Yes. Maria, shocked, thinks to herself. To my knowledge, there has been no progress in pioneering the pirate archipelago. Why is he back already? Con thinks. To appear without even telling me. What are you aiming for, Carmen? Abel speaks to Carmen nervously. Brother, but if I go out now, I'll... Carmen interrupts. You've changed, Abel. Since when can you defy my words? Enough with the talk. Go out. Abel sweats more, hesitant, when a female voice comes from behind. Young master, how can you intimidate your younger brother like that? She continues. Scaring others is the job of pirates. The woman is revealed. Pirate Queen, Sarita Beltade. Julian shouts. That woman. Pirate Queen Sarita. She's a wanted criminal who has killed countless civilians and martial artists. The audience panics, shouting. The Pirate Queen. How did she come to the continent? Arun, Versa, Khan, and Herka arrive behind Sarita. Khan speaks, drawing his sword. I won't ask why you appeared, Pirate Queen. After all, a sinner like you has no right to leave a last will. Sarita, confused, speaks. What? You haven't explained anything yet. Carmen calmly replies. You're a surprise present. Sarita kneels before Carmen and speaks. There's no helping it. I, Sarita Beltade, pledge my loyalty to Carmen Adenka. In addition, the pirate archipelago under my control will all be vested to Adenka territories. Khan is shocked and speaks. What? The audience whispers excitedly. The Pirate Queen has yielded. That means young Master Carmen has conquered the archipelago in just 2 years. Carmen speaks to Vincent. Darn, I'm sorry. It looks like I ruined your solo stage, Vincent. Vincent just looks at him silently. Chapter 145. Khan speaks to Versa. Versa replies. They don't seem to be lying. My eye isn't reacting. Carmen kneels in front of Khan and speaks. Father, 2 years ago, when I left for the sea, I told you that I'd prove myself to be the most suitable candidate to lead the Adenkas after you. The audience reacts, whispering excitedly. Wow, Adenka has conquered the seas now. As expected, the next patriarch will be the first son, Carmen. Khan, however, remains silent, clearly not pleased. Carmen stands and addresses everyone. Everyone, thank you for the congratulations, but this is not my day. Don't forget that today is a time for Vincent Adenka, my brother, to prove himself. Carmen places a hand on Abel and speaks. All right, Abel, Teach our younger brother, who has come back after a long time, a good lesson. An announcement is made. In just a few moments, young masters Vincent and Abel will be having their friendly duel. Abel, shaking, thinks to himself, should I attack first with the quick sword? No, he'll definitely counter it. Should I block his first move before heading in? No, that's impossible. Carmen sighs and speaks. Wait, Abel. Take this. She hands him a small bottle containing something mystical. Abel, surprised, asks, What is it? Carmen explains. It's a potion that the pirates of the archipelago take before battle. Sarita gifted it to me in representation of loyalty. Apparently, it temporarily increases your mana. Abel, feeling a mix of emotions, thinks. It increases mana. With this. Without hesitation, Abel drinks the potion. Carmen remarks, You sure are in a rush. Abel feels the effect immediately and thinks, Oh, power is overflowing me. I feel like I can do anything. Carmen encourages him. With that power, you'll be able to defeat Vincent. No, even without it, I don't think you'd lose. You're the greatest genius amongst us siblings. Abel, smiling, speaks. Be brother. Yes, I will make sure to come back after winning. Carmen smiles, thinking to himself. Yes, fight well, Abel. Although there's no way you'd win. Abel reaches the stadium and Revan gives the signal to start. Begin. Vincent smiles and speaks normally. Don't be too nervous. I'll give you a handicap like I did in the previous matches. Abel begins sweating, worried that he might lose, though something feels different. Vincent continues speaking. I'll only use my left hand and won't move. Okay, begin when you're ready. Abel stands, more nervous than ever, feeling as if he has no chance at all. Vincent thinks to himself. Abel's condition is strange. Abel, confused, thinks. What's wrong? I was overflowing with power just moments ago, but my body won't listen to me now. Vincent calls out. Are you okay, Abel? Voices from the audience shout in concern. What's wrong with him? Is he okay? Young master, are you okay? Young master, he doesn't seem okay. Abel. Abel touches his forehead and groans. Ugh. Then he shouts. Shut up. Abel leaps forward toward Vincent. Vincent blocks the attack with his sword, thinking. Something strange. His eyes aren't focused. The current Abel is not in the right mind. Suddenly, Vincent notices something. And this smell, salty and somewhat fishy, the scent of the ocean. Vincent deflects Abel's sword while Abel moves back a safe distance. Abel growls and charges forward again. Grr. Ka. Vincent speaks, preparing to act. What's going on? I need to end things quickly and find out. Abel shouts. Vincent. He leaps again toward Vincent just as Vincent attacks to intercept. Vincent grits his teeth. Abel's attack connects, causing a huge blast. Vincent is slightly shocked and thinks. What's going on? Abel lost consciousness before my sword even reached him. Abel crashes into the wall, blood starting to spill. More blood flows from Abel, alarming everyone. Vincent, Khan, Versa, and even the elders of Adenka are shocked. The audience cries out. Young Master Abel is vomiting blood. Priest. Call a priest. A priest arrives. Carmen commands. Priest, what's going on? The priest responds. Well, it's poison. I don't know the type, but it seems he's taken a deadly poison. Vincent, shocked, asks. Poison? Carmen accuses. Vincent, did you poison Abel? Vincent shouts. Wait, what are you saying right now? I didn't do anything to Abdash. Suddenly, a hand comes from behind, stopping Vincent mid-sentence. Elder Iagal pushes Vincent to the ground, standing over him. Don't move. Iagal continues. Until we find out where the poison came from, you shall stay in prison, Vincent. Vincent grits his teeth. Ugh, Elder Iagal. From Abel, weakly. Save me. I don't want to die. I trusted you. Why say Carmen? Vincent realizes and thinks angrily. Do you want the patriarch position so badly that you would even lead your brother to death? Carmen, I cannot acknowledge you. I won't let you inherit Khan's, no, Arslan's legacy. Chapter 146. Julian shouts. Oh, jail again. Vincent responds calmly. Calm down. It's not like it's our first time. Vincent looks to his right and asks. Anyway, why are you here, headmistress? Herka, in the same cell, speaks. Well, they told me to take responsibility for this incident as the headmistress. I kind of had a bit of fun in front of Elder Fidenel. I think this is her revenge. She hesitates, then asks Vincent. Vincent, I'm just asking for now, but you didn't actually try to poison Abel, right? Vincent, a little annoyed, replies. Of course I didn't. Herka continues. Well, with your abilities, there was no need to poison him. Vincent stands and walks, speaking firmly. Yes, however, I can't let Carmen get what he wants like this, at this rate. He'll make me the culprit. I need to get out of here. Vincent grabs the cell bars and uses his lightning blessing, Lightning Giant. The prison cell bars start glowing red. Herka tries to pull the bars herself and struggles. It's not budging at all. Ugh, Vincent assesses. I think the prison cell is surrounded by an incredible amount of restraining magic. Herka suggests. Magic? Then you can just cut it using the absolute sword slash and get out. Vincent shakes his head. No. It seems like a type of magic that interferes with mana usage itself, so it'll be difficult to escape from inside. Herka sits down and mutters. Having Sir Vargan at a time like this would have made escaping so easy. Vincent asks. Oh yeah, I haven't seen him since returning to the fortress. Where did the dean go? Herka hesitates. Well, suddenly a voice interrupts. Enough with the chatter. The investigation results are out. Carmen enters the scene. Vincent grits his teeth and shouts. Carmen. Carmen speaks calmly. Vincent, here's the bottle of poison from your dorm. The same kind was found within Abel's body and on the wooden sword you wielded. You tried to kill your brother, who had wanted to participate in a fair duel, with poison. Vincent grits his teeth and shouts. Is that your plan, Carmen? If you're a martial artist, use your own strength. What kind of embarrassment is this for a child from a noble family? Carmen tilts his face to the side, smiling slightly. I don't know what you're talking about, but once the Council of Elders accepts these results, he laughs and continues. You will be immediately executed according to the law of the family. Vincent, Julian, Herka, and even Vincent are a little shocked. Herka shouts, I immediately executed. Carmen leaves the cell, thinking to himself. Arrogant Vincent. I've already fabricated all of the evidence. Now there's no hole for you to escape through. He smiles, continuing in his thoughts. Let's see if you can still act all confident once your head is chopped off. Vincent. As Carmen walks away, he notices Khan and speaks. Father. Back in the cell, Vincent shouts in shock. Pardon? Is that really true? The dean has been missing for 2 years. Herka replies. Yes. Sir Vargan was last witnessed at his dead sister's house. But soon after, it was engulfed in flames. He hasn't contacted me since then. I don't know where he went or if he's alive. Back to Carmen. Khan asks sternly. What are you up to, Carmen? Abel's condition is severe. It's impossible to treat him because we are unfamiliar with the poison used. Are you really going to kill Abel like this? Carmen responds casually. Pardon? I don't know what you're. Suddenly, Khan attacks Carmen. The attack connects. Khan speaks. You sure have gotten arrogant after receiving the support of the old council from the Council of Elders. Do you think everything will go as you? Carmen smiles, blood trickling slightly from his mouth as Khan holds him by the neck. He speaks with a calm, mocking tone. So you haven't found evidence, have you? If you had, it wouldn't be you but the Black Sword unit coming to drag me home. Martial artists should use their power only to protect and for the truth. Such is our duty. Were you not the one who taught me this? Isn't this kind of anger venting misaligned with the duty of martial artists? Khan throws Carmen to the side, shouting, How dare you talk about duty right now? Carmen hits the floor and laughs, speaking with disdain. Ugh, what meaning does that duty have? Heh, even when you possess such great power, you still don't get rid of the things you don't like. Why are you being held back by this pathetic duty? I'll be different from you. The times are changing. I'll use any means possible to fulfill my desires. Khan asks Carmen, Why do you want to become the patriarch? What are you doing this all for? Carmen laughs loudly. I hate when people are above me. Vincent, Dia, and you. I hate when someone is looking down on me so much. Father, just watch, as I take your spot. As Carmen walks away, Khan speaks sternly. Are you certain things are all over? You haven't defeated Vincent yet. Even now, that child is reading your every move and thinking of ways to turn the situation around. Meanwhile, Vincent thinks to himself about how to escape. Julian speaks. To escape the accusation, What's most important is to find out what kind of poison it was. Vincent responds. What will knowing the type of poison give us? Julian explains. Seeing how the cautious Abel got fooled, it must be special. Its place of origin and the manufacturer must only be known to a limited group. So if we find out what poison it is, we might be able to find out the culprit. Vincent ponders. I see the smell of the ocean. Julian asks in surprise. What? The smell of the ocean? Vincent replies. Well, I think I felt some fishy scent during the fight with Abel. Julian thinks quickly. Fishy. Carmen. Pirate Queen. Suddenly, Julian realizes the source of the poison. I got it. It must be from the poisonous anglerfish. It's a predator that lives in the deep sea of the pirate archipelago. It lures in prey with the glowing poisonous appendage on its chin. I heard that a colorless poison extracted from it is used amongst pirates in internal conflicts. Vincent recalls as well. Pirates. It's that woman's doing. He remembers Pirate Queen Sarita. Julian urgently continues. This is bad. If that's really what Abel was poisoned with, his body will melt and become water within 5 hours. If he took the poison after Carmen appeared, the time limit will be at nightfall. Abel will die when the sun sets. The scene changes, showing Abel being treated by priests, but there is no improvement. Chapter 147. As the scene changes to prison, Herka shouts, What? Abel will die when the sun sets? Then there's barely any time left. Vincent speaks. Yes, we must hurry. If Abel dies, we'll be unable to prove my innocence. He thinks to himself. Besides, he remembers the scene when Abel was taken out of the stadium after being poisoned. Abel was speaking. I trusted you. Why? Why? Vincent thinks further. It's true that we weren't on good terms with Abel, but that doesn't mean it's right to just stand by and watch him die like this. Vincent speaks resolutely. We must save Abel, no matter what happens. Herka responds. But, do you have a way to get out? I tried checking just in case, but our cell is surrounded by a huge number of spells, as if by iron bars. It's impossible to escape from here by force. On top of that, we don't even have our weapons, so there's really no way to get out. A female voice comes from outside the cell bars. Yeah, you will die in there. Vincent sees her and says, You? Pirate Queen Sarita? Why are you here? Sarita smiles and speaks while taking out her sword. The inland people are all pushovers, huh? After capturing the enemy, Sarita points her sword toward Vincent and says, You shall kill them immediately to prevent future trouble. The scene changes as people start talking among themselves. A sudden break. Just what's going on? I heard the fortress's instructors talking. Apparently, young Master Vincent secretly used poison. What? Why would he do that? It's obvious. He was able to defeat up to the 5th child, but it got too difficult once he faced the 4th one. At the end of the day, he couldn't leave behind his good-for-nothing habits. Huh. Syria, Hansen, and Wilson are all listening to this nonsense. Syria looks angry. Syria was about to start a fight, but Wilson and Hansen stop her. Syria says, Let me just go talk to him. Wilson says, Calm down. Hansen adds, There's no point in arguing with them. Syria speaks, saddened. Young Master needs to be released with his name cleared. As Syria speaks, a person arrives in front of her. She notices and says, Huh. Syria sees the man covering his head with a hood and shouts loudly, Why you? Back in prison, we see Pirate Queen Sarita as she uses her blessing, Wave Eater. Sarita prepares to attack. She releases her attack toward Vincent and Herka. The waves of water come rushing at them. Both try to dodge, but Herka shouts, Damn, it's hard to dodge since we can't use mana. Another attack heads straight for Herka, who is unable to evade it. In that moment, Vincent speaks while trying to use his magic. Headmistress. As Vincent uses his magic, the waves of water slow down, turning into droplets and stopping. Herka exclaims, The water. Sarita, shocked, thinks to herself, It stopped. No way. That got. He also has a water attribute blessing. Vincent thinks to himself, Nice. Now I just have to counterattack. Vincent shouts and uses his attack. Take this. His magic deflects Sarita's attack back toward her. Seeing this, Sarita is shocked and says, what the? But the returning attack hits the cell bars, shocking Vincent. Ag. Sarita, a little shocked, steps back and says, What? Herka asks anxiously. Vincent, are you okay? Vincent replies. Yes, I'm fine. Sarita laughs. Huh, you scared me for nothing. This is a special prison cell made by the magic tower. If you use mana in there, your circuits immediately suffer damage. There's nothing you can do in there. Sarita uses her attack again. Wave prison. She adds, other than die. Vincent thinks. Wait. Then shouts to Herka. Headmistress, take a deep breath. As deep as you can. Sarita channels a huge amount of water into the prison. Vincent and Herka are submerged inside the water. Outside the cell, Sarita shouts. How is it? The feeling of being stuck in an ocean you can't escape. Are you scared? How long can you last in there? 1 minute? 2. Even the most trained divers can only hold their breath for 5 minutes. Be glad this is inland. At least you won't become fish food here. Kahaha. Drown and die. Suddenly, a new male voice is heard. No. Vargan Pagoda appears and says, You'll be the one to drown and die, Pirate Queen. Vargan uses his magic. Seal of Nullification. The prison cell bar's magic is broken by his spell. The water trapped inside the cell flows outside as the magic on the bars fails. Sarita thinks to herself in shock. No way. The magic tower's prison was shattered that easily. Vincent speaks. Don't worry, Sarita. Since this is inland, even if you drown in my water energy, you won't become fish food. Vincent bursts out of the cell, rushing to confront Sarita. Sarita glares at him. Ugh, don't look down on me, young master. She unleashes her magic. Wave Eater's Blessing. But her attack is nullified. Vincent's counterstrike lands, sending a massive blast through the prison. The impact creates a huge hole in the prison wall. Vincent turns to Vargan, who is holding the unconscious Herka. We wouldn't have made it without you. Thank you so much, Dean. Vargan responds calmly. It's been a while, Vincent. Vincent nods, but says, I'd like to talk more, but we have no time right now. Vargan acknowledges. I understand the situation. Leave this place to me and go. Vincent, I've seen the duels you fought. You've grown marvelously in the last 2 years. Vincent smiles faintly. Dean, I will give you an official salute when I return. Vincent then leaps from the prison toward the jungle, leaving Vargan standing behind. Vargan thinks to himself, I'm sorry, Vincent. I won't be able to receive that salute for a while. I cannot return to the fortress until I find the whereabouts of Nightmare. Meanwhile, Herka slowly opens her eyes. Sir Vargan? She quickly realizes she's awake and panics. What happened? Where's Vincent? And the Pirate Queen? Looking around, she sees she is alone in the jungle and notices the fire nearby. Huh? Is this the forest near the fortress? Someone lit a fire. Also, I thought I heard Sir Vargan's voice. Herka spots something to her right, a magic scroll and other items. Huh, that's elsewhere. Vincent and Sarita face each other in the jungle. Vincent observes, As I thought, you wouldn't die after being swept by a current of that size. Sarita smirks. If I were weak enough to die from something like that, I wouldn't have obtained the title of the Pirate Queen. Vincent points his sword at her. Hand over the antidote to the anglerfish poison. We don't have time. Sarita smiles back. Oh, you already found out that much, huh? Then I really can't let you live. She launches another attack. Vincent thinks. It's massive. Was she controlling the force from the prison? He is submerged in the wave, analyzing the situation. Although I can breathe thanks to Porcidon's blessing, it's still dangerous to stay in an enemy-created environment this long. Anyway, where did Sarita go? Suddenly, he senses an attack coming from behind. He quickly turns and deflects the strike. But then he notices something startling. It's not Sarita, it's a clone. What the? A clone. A water puppet. The real Sarita appears, surrounded by countless Sarita clones. Gotcha, young master, she shouts. Vincent is momentarily taken aback by the overwhelming sight. He activates his blessing. Porcidon. Sea Army. Vincent launches an attack towards Sarita, while she deftly defends herself. Sarita mutters to herself, frustrated. It sure is annoying that we both have a water blessing. There's no end to this. I need to use a big technique to take him down in one go. Vincent calls out. Sarita, let me just ask you one thing. Why did you submit to Carmen? Since you can control water, there's no way you would have lost to him in the sea. Sarita smiles slyly. Do you know what the biggest virtue of a pirate is, young master? She laughs loudly. It's greed. The desire to have more than other pirates. Yes, Carmen lost to me. His fleet was pathetic, and his skills were too. The next term ambiguous for the next term patriarch. Ultimately, his expedition ended in failure before 2 years were even up. However, a scene flashes of Carmen losing, and he shouts. Don't. Sarita interrupts, explaining. What? The ambition in his eyes. That wasn't the ambition of a martial artist. It was closer to that of a pirate's. Back in the fight, Sarita addresses Vincent. I want to see the end of Carmen's ambition, because I'm curious how far his destructive desires will take me. So, she begins unleashing another attack. Vincent observes. The water is going up. Sarita raises her sword, shouting. I can't be held back by you. She slashes with her ultimate move. Wave Eater, ultimate, sending a massive tsunami toward Vincent. The wave approaches, crashing with incredible force. Trees are uprooted, and a giant water blast forms a mushroom cloud of water instead of fire. Sarita hovers in the air, confident. She taunts Vincent. What do you think? This is the ability that made me the pirate queen. Not a single ship hit by this could escape sinking. So, young Master Vincent, you shall sink too. Within the massive water blast, a shadow appears, revealing a glowing symbol of Poseidon. Suddenly, the world darkens. Sarita panics, thinking. The world got dark. Vincent calmly declares. Watch closely, Pirate Queen Sarita. This is the sword of Abel Tan Alum, the man known as the Dragon King. Chapter 149. Abel lies on the treatment table, coughing up blood, barely conscious. Carmen stands over him, his expression calm but cold. You're in terrible condition, Abel. Abel struggles, lifting a trembling hand toward Carmen, his voice weak. Save me, please. Be brother. Carmen's face darkens with anger, his voice now sharp and merciless. Why aren't you dying? Stop holding on and melt to death. That's the sole reason for your existence. Tears start streaming down Abel's face as he listens to those words. Suddenly, a soldier bursts in, panicked. Sir Carmen. There's trouble. Carmen turns, irritated. What now? The soldier stammers out the news. Why young Master Vincent and Headmistress Herka have escaped. Shock spreads across Carmen's face as he tries to process the situation. Then, without warning, a massive earthquake shakes the room. Carmen rushes to the window to see what's happening outside. He freezes in disbelief as water roars through the air like a torrential downpour. What a rain, he mutters, utterly stunned. Back to the battle between Vincent and Sarita. Sarita's right hand is sliced by Vincent's attack. She steps back, thinking to herself, that kid isn't even 20 years old yet. To think, he's got such power. The impact of Vincent's strike leaves a huge gap in the battlefield, tearing through the ground and scattering debris. Sarita's thoughts race. This is a monster, from its own league. Vincent stands firm before her, his sword ready. Hand over the antidote. I know you definitely have it for safety reasons. Sarita meets his gaze, her voice cold but curious. You don't have the ambition in your eyes like me. Then what's the driving force that makes you fight? Those eyes, money, honor, women? Just what are they aiming for? Vincent's reply is calm but resolute. The distorted truth must be set right. In order to achieve that, I need to become stronger. Sarita raises an eyebrow. Stronger than Carmen? Vincent's eyes burn with determination. Stronger than father. No, if need be, stronger than anyone. Sarita is momentarily stunned. She struggles to stand tall, her pride pricked, and finally speaks. To think you'd be greedier than me. You've won, young Master Vincent. I've lost in both power and ambition. But then, with a sly smile, she throws a small glass bottle toward Vincent. However, I'm a cheap pirate. Vincent immediately reacts, recognizing the scent. This scent, it's the poisonous anglerfish's poison. Got it. Just in time, Herka appears, intercepting the bottle with her whip before it can hit Vincent. Got it. Herka calls out. Vincent shouts in relief. Headmistress. Sarita smiles wickedly, taunting Vincent. How lame. In the end, she shatters the glass bottle with a flick of her hand, still grinning. The poison is mostly water. Vincent tries to block it, but the poison has already splashed onto his body. Herka shouts in alarm. Vincent. Sarita laughs, her voice echoing through the battlefield. Kihiha, unfortunately, there won't be much time for you to enjoy your victory. Herka lashes out with her whip, aiming at Sarita, but before it can reach her, Sarita smirks and taunts. See you in 5 hours. If you're still alive by then, that is. A swirl of magic erupts around Sarita, and she vanishes in a cloud of dust. Vincent narrows his eyes, realizing the trick. Steam, he mutters. Then aloud, darn it, she's gone. Herka glances at Vincent, concern etched on her face. No way. To think you'd be poisoned too, Vincent. Is there anything we can do now? Vincent clenches his fist and smiles faintly. Yes, now that I'm poisoned, the preparations are complete. The antidote will come to us itself. 30 minutes before sunset, Carmen stands with 2 elders, Khan, Versa, and several soldiers. His voice rings with authority. No matter the reason, those who escape the imprisonment of the family can be apprehended by force as wanted criminals. According to the family's legislation, Herka Kabel, who escaped and is in hiding, as well as Vincent Adenka, are now wanted criminals. Khan glares angrily. You truly want to see things through with me. Carmen smiles faintly, thinking to himself. It's pointless to glare at me like that, father. I will not give you any evidence for you to step out. He commands the soldiers sharply. All right, let's not waste any time. Go catch the fugitives. If they resist, you can use any means. Just bring them. A voice cuts through the tension. There's no need. Herka and Vincent appear before them. Vincent spreads something from his hands toward everyone present. The soldiers panic. Smoke. Young Master Vincent is letting out an unidentified smoke. Carmen narrows his eyes. It's not just smoke. This is blood. Khan thinks, realization dawning. Blood that's been dispersed into tiny particles. Vincent smiles confidently. This blood fog will reveal the true culprit who used the poison. Carmen's eyes narrow as he looks at Vincent. His voice drips with disdain. I wondered what nonsense you'd spout, showing up here voluntarily. What a vulgar spectacle, Vincent. He raises his sword, pressing it against Vincent's neck. Or perhaps, have you lost your mind now that you're about to be executed? Vincent smiles calmly, unshaken. Yes, at this rate, I'm definitely going to die. So if it means surviving, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. With a swift motion, Vincent slides the sword off his neck. Then, loudly and clearly, I was just exposed to the pirate Queen Sarita's poison on my way here. Shock ripples through Carmen. What did you say? He barks. Versa steps back, eyes wide. Sarita's poison? Elder Iagel's face pales. Then that blood mist. It must be laced with poison. Elder Fidenel instinctively covers her mouth. Vincent smirks, his confidence radiating. It's too late to cover your mouths now. I'm sorry, but you all must capture the pirate queen and get the antidote, if you want to live. Carmen sweats, anger and panic warring in his mind. A soldier stammers, panic-stricken. Pea poison, really? If what he says is true, that means everyone here is poisoned. From behind, Herka observes silently, thinking to herself. He did something this insane and didn't even flinch. Elder Fidenel tries to scoff, but Versa interrupts firmly. No, there wasn't a single lie in what Vincent just said. It's true. He was exposed to poison. Elder Iagel shakes, his voice trembling. Then you mean it's already in our bodies? Another elder glares at Carmen, who mutters under his breath, panicked. Damn it, don't look over here. They'll find out I'm the culprit, you geezers. Vincent's tone turns serious. According to Sarita, the poison takes about 5 hours to kill. I need to obtain the antidote before anyone sees me. If I don't, I'll end up melting like Abel. Carmen grits his teeth, thinking frantically. Soon, everything in Adenka will be mine. I can't die like this now. First, I need to find Sarita. Suddenly, Sarita appears, her own hand cut, her expression calm but sharp. Hey, young lord. Carmen freezes, shock and disbelief flashing across his face. That stupid fool. Why would she come here on her own? He thinks, beads of sweat forming. Sarita lifts her other hand, speaking clearly. Can someone summon a priest? Carmen clenches his fists, thinking, damn it, being tied to Sarita at this moment is bad. Vincent watches, a faint smile on his face as he thinks to himself. But like it or not, Sarita has no one to rely on land but you, Carmen. Elder Iagel's voice booms across the hall, trembling with urgency. It's the Pirate Queen. Seize her. We have to find out where the antidote is. Immediately, the soldiers surrounding the throne shift, their attention snapping to Sarita. They begin advancing in unison, weapons raised. Sarita's brow furrows as she takes a step back, her mind racing. What's going on? She thinks, confusion flickering across her face. Weren't the elders and soldiers supposed to be on Carmen's side? Carmen suddenly steps forward, shoving a soldier aside effortlessly. His eyes lock onto Sarita with steely determination. Hand over the antidote. Sarita freezes, caught between duty and strategy. Her mind flashes back to the vow she had taken. Didn't he tell me never to give it to him? If Abel wakes up now, everything will fall apart. What? She whispers to herself, hesitant. Carmen grits his teeth, his voice rising with frustration. Can't you hear me? He leans closer, eyes burning with intensity. I said, give me the antidote now. Have you forgotten your vow of absolute obedience to me? We're all going to die because of you. Sarita sighs, shaking her head, and finally speaks aloud as she hands over the precious antidote. Fine here. The powder inside the eye patch is the antidote. Carmen reaches to take it, but a fleeting thought crosses his mind. At least we've saved our lives for now. Let's think about what's next after we're detoxified. Suddenly, Vincent steps forward, his presence commanding. He snatches the antidote from Sarita's hands effortlessly. A small smile plays across his lips as he speaks calmly. Oh, come to think of it. How long has it been since Brother Abel collapsed? Carmen's eyes widen in shock, his voice faltering. Why you're not handing it over? Khan steps forward, his tone matter-of-fact as he answers Vincent. About 5 hours. I heard this is the critical moment. Vincent's gaze sharpens, scanning the room with a calculating look. That's strange. The two poisons share similar traits. Lord Carmen, do you know something? Why is Sarita using a poison similar to the one that affected Abel? Isn't she supposed to be your loyal follower? Khan's eyes blaze with anger as he stares down Carmen. His voice cuts through the tension like a blade. Tell us what you know, Carmen. Carmen's hands tremble slightly, his body stiffening in shock. The betrayal, real or imagined, hits him hard. From the side, Sarita's voice cuts through the tension, sharp and demanding. Hey, Carmen, what the hell is going on here? Explain it to me too. Before she can step closer, Carmen strikes. His blade slices across Sarita's neck with ruthless precision. Sarita gasps, stunned, as Carmen glares at her with a mix of fury and disbelief. Why you deceived me, Sarita? How dare you throw a Denka into chaos with poison? I should have known better than to keep a rootless pirate like you near me. Sarita's last breath leaves her as her head tilts, her lips whispering his name one final time. Carmen. Her body collapses to the floor, lifeless. Vincent's expression tightens, his voice calm but edged with concern. TSK, this is troublesome. Now that Sarita's dead, the pirates will turn completely hostile toward Adenka. Continuing island development with their help will be impossible. It's unfortunate that 2 years of work are now wasted, Lord Carmen. He taps on the ground, calling out. Pock Pock, are you there? From beneath the earth, a spirit emerges, light glimmering around it. Young Lord Vincent. Did you call Pock? Vincent hands off an important task. Deliver this to Priest Chavon. He'll understand if you tell him it's the antidote I sent. The spirit nods, resolute. Leave it to me, Pock. With that, it disappears underground, moving swiftly toward its destination. Elder Fidenel shouts after them. Wait. Elder Iagal echoes, panic in his voice. Hold on. Fidenel pleads. You should leave some antidote for the rest of us too. We're going to die. Vincent smiles reassuringly. You'll all be fine. I'm the only one who was poisoned. Carmen freezes, disbelief overtaking him. What? Herka smirks lightly and speaks. The truth is, what I sprayed on you all was my blood. No poison. The elders gasp, their shock almost physical. Then you didn't poison us at all. Why you dare deceive the Elder Council? Versa's lips curl into a small, knowing smile as she thinks to herself. That's right. Vincent never said whose blood it was. A very minor omission, but the impact was enormous. Carmen stands frozen, a cold realization settling in. His mind races. What? So then I lost everything for nothing. Sarita, the pirate archipelago. I threw it all away with my own hands. Abel writhes in agony, his body trembling violently as the poison courses through him. Ugh! I can't hold on any longer, he screams, every word laced with pain. The priests hover around him desperately. One cries out, panic in his voice. No, the young lord's body can't hold out any longer. His body is melting down. Another priest, steeling himself, urges with determination. Don't give up. Squeeze out your divine power. Otherwise, the young lord will truly die. A faint, shimmering powder begins to spread through the air, glowing softly in the dim light. One of the priests gasps. This is powder? Priest Chavin steps forward, holding the radiant substance carefully. Stand back. It's the antidote. Let it reach Prince Abel. As the magical powder touches Abel's body, a visible reaction occurs. His skin ceases its melting, and healing light radiates outward, restoring his form. A priest stumbles back in disbelief. H's body stopped melting. It's a miracle. It looks like Prince Abel's poison is gone. Vincent exhales in relief, his voice calm but firm. Luckily, it wasn't too late. Khan and Versa exchange looks of relief, tension leaving their bodies as hope returns. Meanwhile, Carmen's face is slick with sweat, his mind racing. I ended up handing Abel the antidote with my own hands. That guy knows I'm the one who used the poison. The day Abel wakes up and tells father the truth. I'm finished. I need to act before that brat regains consciousness. Vincent's eyes narrow as he notices Carmen watching from the sidelines. Without hesitation, he strides toward Priest Chavin. When do you think he'll wake up? Vincent asks, his tone calm but probing. Chavin shakes his head, responding carefully. Hard to say. The poison is gone, but he still needs to recover from the physical damage and exhaustion. I suggest keeping him in a healing-induced coma for about a week. Carmen's expression shifts slightly. A bead of sweat drips down his temple, but a hint of relief flickers in his eyes. A coma? Heaven is helping me. If I can just eliminate Vincent and Abel within a week, everything will go according to plan again. Elder Fidenel claps his hands thoughtfully and suggests, Lord, how about we reward Sir Carmen, who resolved this case, with a fitting reward? Khan, visibly irritated, shoots back. To Carmen? Are you joking with me, Elder Fidenel? Vincent smiles subtly, his tone smooth and approving. Wise suggestion, Elder. Khan blinks, confused, staring at Vincent. Vincent turns back to address the group with a confident smile. Let's do that, my lord. The next day, the stadium buzzed with activity once more, filled with spectators eager for the latest developments. The announcement from the family echoed across the arena. The poison incident has been officially declared as Sarita's solo crime. Vincent and Headmistress Herka are cleared of all charges. However, the credit for resolving the crisis and dealing with the Pirate Queen has been awarded to Lord Carmen. Carmen stood on the stage, flanked by two elders and Khan, waving to the crowd as they cheered and applauded. A medal gleamed in the sunlight, ready to be bestowed upon him as recognition for his heroic deeds. On the sidelines, Vincent and Versa watched quietly. Versa turned to Vincent, concern in her eyes. Are you really okay with this? You were the one who cornered Sarita and saved Abel. Vincent's expression remained calm, his voice measured. If I push Carmen too far, he might hurt someone else just to get out of trouble. For now, letting him enjoy this brief victory is the safest move. Versa bowed her head slightly, a soft apology in her tone. I'm sorry. I owe you one. Nearby, Elder Iagal nudged Carmen impatiently. Lord, shouldn't you be awarding the medal now? Khan's voice rang out, approving and authoritative. I know. Not only did he eliminate a great threat to Adenka, but he also showed wisdom in saving his brother's life. Well done. Khan then locked eyes with Vincent and sent a mental message, his tone filled with admiration. Truly well done, Vincent. Vincent froze, shocked to hear Khan's words of praise. The crowd erupted, chanting and cheering for Carmen. Long live Lord Carmen. That medal is a game-changer. Looks like the eldest is favored to become the next head. Vincent's lips curved into a subtle smile as he thought to himself. Too soon for praise. The real battle starts now. He stepped forward, addressing Carmen with a calm, measured tone. Congratulations, Lord Carmen. In his mind, Vincent continued, a surge of determination fueling him. Enjoy your brief moment of victory. But you said it yourself. Lord Carmen, this is where I prove myself. You, who tried to harm your kin for ambition, you have no right to become the head of a Denka. He walked closer to the stage and pointed his sword directly at him. His voice rang out loud and clear. I want to prove to you as well that I have the strength worthy of the name Adenka. Carmen's lips twisted into a dangerous smile, his eyes glinting with malice. In his mind, he seethed. I was going to kill you anyway, and now you've given me the excuse I needed. Demon, you dare make a fool of me? I'll kill you right here. Drawing his sword, Carmen's voice cut through the stadium. Fine, Vincent. I accept your challenge. The crowd erupted into stunned murmurs and shouts as the duel was officially announced. One spectator shouted loudly, Prince Vincent has issued a challenge to Lord Carmen. This is mutiny. Another voice called out anxiously, what if Prince Vincent wins? A third voice scoffed in disbelief. No way. Lord Carmen is far stronger. Amid the chaos, Khan's commanding voice cut through the clamor. Very well, my sons. Show me the results of the past 2 years. Prove yourselves to me. Vincent's gaze met Carmen's across the arena. Both wore serious expressions, their eyes locked in silent determination. Carmen's lips curved into a faint, confident smile as he studied Vincent's face. Elder Iagal stepped forward, trying to calm the escalating tension. Wait, everyone is getting too worked up. Let's take a moment. A duel between these two. Isn't it too soon for Vincent, just a cadet, to face someone like Carmen? Carmen's anger flared, his eyes narrowing as he shot back at the elder. What are you two even doing? I'll kill that brat right now. Elder Fidenel telepathed a warning to Carmen, her voice firm and cold. And if you do, what do you think you'll look like? You'll become the heartless man who killed his underage little brother in a duel. There's nothing for you to gain from this match. What's important now is to divert all attention away from Vincent. Carmen ground his teeth, his mind racing. But it's the perfect chance to kill that bastard Vincent. Yet I mustn't upset the elders before the head of house contest. He composed himself and addressed Vincent, masking his fury with a taunting tone. Trying to flex your power on your younger brother? Seems I got a little too worked up. Vincent's voice remained steady, calm, and unwavering. I was the one who cut off Sarita's arm. Isn't that enough for you? Elder Iagal interjected, grounding the situation in reality. It was Lord Carmen who went for her throat. And besides, you had Fortress Commander Herka at your side. Herka's mind raced as she observed the tense standoff. If we don't crush Carmen here and now, he'll definitely pull something to endanger Vincent and Abel. The problem is, the Elder Council's excuse is valid. His time in the fortress and the 9 badges. Those are a rite of passage for recognition as a true warrior. In short, no matter how strong Vincent is, as long as he's just a rank 8 cadet, he's not qualified to challenge Carmen. A voice, calm and determined, echoed from the side. Then all Vincent has to do is prove he's stronger than a fortress-breaking warrior. Herka nodded silently to herself, acknowledging the truth of the statement. But then her eyes caught something unexpected to her right. Herka's breath hitched as she focused. A woman stepped onto the stadium floor, her presence commanding attention. Her voice rang out clearly. So it's undeniable. Right now, right in front of the Elder Council's eyes. Herka froze, shock spreading across her face. You. Herka's voice rose in panic as she shouted. Why are you here? No, wait. How are you here? The tension in the stadium escalated further, every spectator and elder turning to witness this unexpected arrival, knowing that her presence could completely change the outcome of the duel. Chapter 152. A few minutes earlier, when Carmen denied fighting Vincent, the entire audience looked disappointed. They had been expecting a huge clash. Murmurs spread through the crowd. What? It's over already. Looks like it. The Elder Council and Carmen are backing down, aren't they? Carmen stepped down from the stage, gritting his teeth. He spat out coldly. TCH. Consider yourself lucky, Vincent. But Vincent only smiled back. With a provoking tone, he replied, Oh, are you running away because you're afraid you'll lose? What a pointless concern. It wouldn't be Lord Carmen's first defeat, would it? Carmen froze, rage boiling inside him. His teeth clenched as he glared at Vincent. You? I'll really kill you. The elders beside him quickly tried to calm him down. Fidenel spoke nervously. Just calm down, Carmen. Yeah, you can fight Vincent later. But if you end up losing, Carmen turned toward them, eyes burning with fury. Me? Lose? The elder stammered. And no, I didn't mean it like that. Grinding his teeth, Carmen bit his lip and finally growled. I know what you're saying is right for now, so I'll back off. But if you interfere with me one more time, I'll start by cutting off your heads. Fidenel clenched her teeth, furious inside. Do you even know who helped you get this far? You've grown a little stronger, and now you're getting cocky. Meanwhile, brother, we can't let Carmen get away. Vincent nodded. I know. At this point, we may have to forcibly STO. But before he could finish, a powerful female voice rang out across the hall. May I accept Vincent's challenge in his stead? Everyone turned toward the source. Carmen flinched in shock, staring wide-eyed. You're... Even Vincent froze, stunned to see the woman. You're... Lady Hannah. Gasps echoed through the audience. Maria shouted in surprise. Third Princess Hannah Adenka. The one who broke through the fortress last year. I heard you were on assignment in the southern continent. Why have you shown up here? Carmen's eyes narrowed as he glared at Hannah. What did you come here for? To lend your strength to Vincent. Hannah kept walking toward him, her steps calm, yet unwavering. Carmen's tone grew colder. Looks like you've forgotten my warning, Hannah. Even if something happens to Laurent Helheim. But Hannah cut him off with a confident smile. Helheim will be safe. Because of the agreement with Yongrim, Dragonfolk soldiers are already stationed at the Lord's manor. If you threaten Lord Laurent, be ready to become Yongrim's enemy. Her expression sharpened as she leaned closer, her voice low and firm near Carmen's ear. Of course, I won't sit still either, Lord Carmen. Carmen's eyes widened. You dare. But Hannah didn't stop. She walked past him and moved toward Vincent. Vincent spoke softly, still surprised. Lady Hannah. Hannah gave a small smile. I jumped in on my own. Hope you don't mind, Vincent. From behind, Elder Fidenel shouted in alarm. Lady Hannah, please don't act so suddenly. But Hannah replied firmly. If you truly object, how about this? She stepped closer to Vincent and declared for all to hear. The winner between the two of us will challenge Lord Carmen. And if I lose to Lord Carmen, I'll officially support him as the next family head. Gasps rippled through the hall. Carmen's mind raced in excitement. Over the successor position, the tiresome stalemate with Dia. If I can just win over Hannah's faction here, the successor match won't even need to happen. I'll win by default. I can beat her, that annoying fool Dia. His grin widened as he thought further. Even if Vincent wins, he'll be exhausted after fighting Hannah. Then I can toy with the worn-out Vincent and accidentally kill him. Finally, Carmen smirked, speaking aloud. Fine. I'll fight only the winner. Do as you please. Elder Fidenel tried to step in, but before she could say anything, Carmen turned back with a furious glare. What? He barked. Fidenel grit her teeth, but in the end, she stayed silent. Hannah then looked directly at Vincent. It seemed settled then. Vincent hesitated. He didn't want to fight his older sister, but he couldn't bring himself to refuse either. Revan, acting as the referee, raised the white flag. Vincent Adenka and Hannah Adenka's duel will begin. Hannah smirked faintly. This place will become a humiliating stage for me. Vincent clenched his fists, thinking to himself. I knew someday I'd have to defeat Hannah and free myself, but I never wanted to shame her in front of everyone like this. His voice softened as he spoke aloud. I had hoped you wouldn't step forward, sister. But Hannah's gaze was firm. No need for that look. Just keep moving forward, through me. Show the Elder Council, show Carmen, and beyond, toward the dream I believe in for you. Vincent whispered, conflicted. Sister. Hannah continued, her voice steady. That day at the Francis Art Gallery, you said you'd surpass me, Vincent, and take up the role of a warrior in my place. Her hand tightened on her sword. With a serious expression, she raised it. Vincent, can you surpass me right now? Vincent's eyes hardened as he drew his blade. I will prove it. From the stands, Maria suddenly shouted. It's a battle involving sculpture Hannah Adenka. Don't miss a single strand of hair or pore. Record everything. Her cameraman panicked. Why, yes, sir. Maria's eyes narrowed as she noticed something strange. Huh? Sculpture? She's smiling. Yes, Hannah was smiling. Revan lifted his hand. Both sides prepare. Begin the duel. The moment the signal dropped, Hannah dashed forward. Vincent's eyes widened. She's fast. Hannah smiled as her sword swept through. But I won't let you surpass me so easily. Your victory must not lose its shine. Her aura burst forth as she activated her blessing skill. Mad Sculptor Michelian. With all her might, Hannah roared, "I'll pour out everything I've got." And that wraps up chapters 135 to 152 of Standard of Reincarnation. I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as I did while putting this together. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the first part, which covers chapters 1 to 134, available in the playlist on my channel. Also, just so you know, every week I'll be uploading new episodes of this manhwa, so make sure to stick around and follow along with each chapter as it comes out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.